It's the Cloud Chronicles, blazing trails, you know how Johnny moves. Young black mamba, dropping the hottest news. Life's a mad attorney calling audibles. When it's mindset, I don't know how I'ma lose. Keep it 100, we from the 90s, dude. Freshest podcast out, we on the grind for you. Stuck on your head all day, Gorilla Glue. They think they really gon' out me, pull up with the big tech. Call it Silicon Valley, made it through a dark winter, it was getting so cloudy. Now we got the sickest show in the whole county. It's a cold world, better bundle up. Gotta get the shovel when the truck is stuck. In the middle of a blizzard, still coming up. Tuning in just so I know what is up. It's the Cloud Chronicles. It's the Cloud Chronicles.
What up, world? We are live. We are back. This is the Cloud Chronicles, man. I'm your host, Jerry and Blaze, man. We are doing a special Saturday episode. So, yeah, I got a super special guest. She does a little bit of what I do, too. I was pleasantly surprised about that. But I'm going to let you meet her and let her introduce herself and everything. And so without further ado, I want everybody to welcome Miss Keisha Sanchez to the Cloud Chronicles.
Whoa. I like that.
Okay, hold on. So everybody look, Keisha is the host of I Am Radio, and she is a
Naturopathy.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna mess it up again. Naturopathy advocate.
Yes.
Yeah, naturopathy advocate.
Yes.
So go ahead, introduce yourself to the people who don't know who you are. Go ahead, please.
Yes. So my name is Keisha. I am the host or co-host, I should say. I do have a co-host, Tati, Miss Tati Bati of I Am Radio. We're based out of Arlington, Texas on Fishbowl Radio Network. And I am also a naturopathy advocate and teacher in our community that just basically brings awareness around holistic methods to heal ourselves holistically, mind, body, and spirit using natural principles.
And I am all for that. I've had a couple people on the show that also do a little bit of that. So this is gonna be good. So what made you want to get into broadcasting? Like, when did you get the bug, so to speak? Is this something you've always wanted to do since you were small, or?
You know what? I never thought I would broadcast or be in front of cameras or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Contrary to popular belief, I am very shy, very, very shy. But actually, I have to pay homage to my guy, Xavier Hall. He was one of my co-hosts along with James Lavelle on The P-View, which was a show that we had earlier this year. So over the course of the past year and a half, he was reaching out. We would, be in each other's inbox speaking about Islam and stuff like that. He's like, "Yo, we need to put together a show." And throughout the pandemic, he would reach out to me, just keep on to me like, "Hey, we need to do a show." And finally, he hit me up in February, March, I would say, and be like, "We're going to Fishbowl. I'm paying for it. Let's just go ahead and do it." We sat in my living room and wrote up about 6 months worth of content just to make sure that we were ready and to be consistent. And so we rode with that show, I would say, for a couple months. And along the way, I just seen a certain response and demand, and also a responsibility for us as African Americans to have a platform and be in control of our own media. And with that being said, and with the inspiration of my father, Dr. Khalid El Hakim, who is the owner of the Black History Mobile Museum 101.
Shout out to him.
Yes, 30 years. So he inspired me from childhood to be, I'm mixed with Black and white. So my mother's white and my father's Black. He made me very aware and conscious of my African American culture, and I didn't really understand why he was always gone and on the move and going to different shows and going to different events back then. But he exposed me to it, and it built value, in my consciousness and along my life. And now that I'm 30 years old, or, as I gotten older, I've had to just tap into it and go back to the basics and realize how much value and how important it is for us to have these platforms, and for the educational piece and awareness piece to be available to our people.
Yes, yes, very, very much so. I agree. It's like, have you heard Kev on Stage with his Kev on Stage Studios? Yeah, this is
Yeah,
what I see for you. I see
yeah,
it happening. About a couple more years, maybe a
yeah.
couple more months, you gonna have your own little studio set up, have people recording
Hey,
down there and everything.
whatever God says, I'm down.
That's right. That's right. I hear you. I hear you. So, broadcasting.
Yeah.
Is this something that did you just go to school for it, or is this something you just kind of
No,
you were good at and you just studied film, so to speak?
yeah, so actually I started off in photography. So me and my youngest daughter, she's a creative, and
Mhm.
so she got into photography during the pandemic. Once we Naima Divine Photography, it's named after her. So once she started delving into that, I came up with an idea when we post content on Facebook. So during the pandemic, there was this huge trend of everybody being Facebook comedians, right? And
Mhm.
I was one of those people, and I had a huge following from that. But once we got into the photography, I really focused on realism photography, catching stuff in the moment, real
Mhm.
life. But one thing about it, when I wanted to recreate and represent myself to social media on a professional level, the inspiration or the objective was to showcase women in a new light.
Mhm.
Modest photography, modest women. And so one of the first photo shoots that I did, I believe it was in Arlington, and it was a group of about four of us, and we dressed up in our cultural uh clothing. We went out and took pictures in front of murals and stuff like that that
Mhm.
represented unity and love. And then the second big project I did was the Women in Black, which was shot out in Dallas.
Mhm.
We went out there, and this was a big time during the riots and the stuff going on across the nation. George Floyd and stuff like that. He
Mhm.
had a lot of murals and stuff. So we made sure that we went out there and that we were modest and we were able to present ourselves in a new light, because honestly, right now, the level of respect for women is diminished. And part of it is through media, part of it is the unawareness and the identity crisis, right?
Right.
So how do we do that? We have to recreate it and we have to control it. So I saw that gap, and I said, you know what? Let me create something new that'll stand out. So
Mhm.
rather than me putting on little hoochie mama clothes, which I like to wear, sometimes, but if I'm going to present myself
Right.
to the public, I need to
Right.
look a certain way. If I want to be talked to and uh courted a certain way, whatever the case may be. If I want a
Pretty
certain
professional.
professional
Yes.
transaction to go through, I need
Mhm.
to present myself in a certain way that's honorable and respectable.
Agreed.
And there's actually a quote, and I don't want to misquote who said it, but it's something that eh, I'm not going to misquote it, but
Mhm.
I'm going to
Right.
paraphrase the quote
Agreed.
or who said it. But,
Mhm.
and you may know who it is, but they said that the nation can raise no higher than its woman. And as I get older and as I grow this sense of responsibility, not only for myself, because once you have a certain awareness, you understand it's not all about you. Your
Right.
representation is for your people, for your community, for your family. So a nation could raise no higher than its woman. When I heard that, I'm like, damn, I have not only a responsibility for myself, but I need to create a platform and a visual that'll not only represent me, but also be the catalyst to represent my sisters and say, hey, we could do what we do on the side and have fun and stuff like that. But at the same time, when we want to go out into the world and make these changes, again,
Mhm.
we want to be received a certain way. We want to be heard. When I
Mhm.
used to practice Islam, my hijab, I didn't wear it because my husband told me to or anything like that.
Right.
Number one, I wore it because the Quran said that it would protect me from being mocked or groped in public. Thank you. I'm sorry, who was it? He walked out.
What
Okay.
did he
All
say? Who
right.
it was?
I couldn't hear him.
You
He
couldn't hear
walked
him.
out.
Okay. Okay. When
But
he tell him to chime back in whenever he get
yeah,
that. I want to know. I want to know too.
I'll get that for you.
Okay. Cool.
But
Cool.
when I wore my hijab, it made me feel dignified, and it also made me lessen or cover my identity. So people express themselves through different ways. So your clothing, your makeup, your accessories, fashion is a big part of how we identify with ourselves and how we want to be received, by others. So with that being said, the hijab for me, which I was a fly hijabi, but
Yeah.
it made me tone myself down and submit, and so when people had to talk to me, you couldn't look at my ass, you couldn't look at nothing but my face. You had to look
Right.
at me straight in the face and communicate with me.
Right.
And that was a big cornerstone in my life. And even though I don't wear hijab any longer, the concept still sticks with me. And there's various other ways that you can do that without wearing the covering.
Right.
And that's how you carry yourself and know how to maneuver in different situations and knowing your audience and who you're talking to and knowing how to speak their language.
True. True. So let me ask you, talk about some of the hurdles you had to go through to get your platform.
You know what? I'm not going to say I've had any hurdles because I just haven't.
Right.
I saw the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
I reached out to people that I knew, or I surrounded myself with people that held me accountable, that pushed me to be better than even what I am. They think I'm great, but they pushed me to go harder. I was able to know where to go to make it happen. That's one thing you have to do. You got to know how to make it happen, and you have to know where the resources are. I was blessed to know what those resources are. As far as my support, there's a lot of talk about people not getting support in their own city and, all of that. Yes, it does happen, but I thank God that I have had the city behind me, my friends, my family, strangers. I think a lot of it has to be that I'm setting myself apart by not following certain trends. I'm not on here talking about bullshit. I'm not on here talking about, the crazy stuff going on and, in the news, and I'm not focused on the negativity. I'm really trying to open up a dialogue between, me. I work mostly with men. I'm trying to create a safe space where men and women can communicate effectively and efficiently. I'm trying to create a platform where we can discuss real life situations and come to an understanding rather than being conclusive. I've been an apologist, a Christian apologist. I've been a Muslim apologist. And what I've come to realize, if you understand debate, people go to debates to find answers. Now, the two debating, they both think they know the answers, right?
Right.
But the people that are watching them, I used to spend hours watching debates, and what I found out to realize is that people still lead with the same answers, or they follow whoever sounds better. That's the same thing that happens in the courtroom. Justice does not happen in the courtroom. Justice is relative. People win cases based off of whoever presented the information the best. It doesn't mean that it's true. And there's a lot of other variables that go along with it. So when you understand that, and again, you have that sense of awareness and responsibility, you are very careful with the content that you put out, or very careful with being conclusive. Sadhguru, which is one of my spiritual teachers, he says to say that I don't know opens up the limitless opportunities of knowing. And so that is where I rest my case is I want to be a continuous student. I want to continue to talk to people. I want to continue to invite other perspectives and insights. And also, again, to reel that back in, make sure that our people have a platform that is an easy yes, because I have had that. My journey has been seamless. That's not to say that I have had it easy as far as the work.
Right.
My work ethic outside of this is unmatched. So this, because it's my passion, is seamless, but I put just as much work into this as I do in any other aspect of my life. So when artists and business owners and influencers reach out and I see that it aligns, it'll be automatic.
Right.
They need somebody to answer the phone. They need someone to say yes. I
Mhm.
just had Schizo here last weekend or the weekend before from Kalamazoo,
Right.
Michigan. He introduced me to the Juggalo culture. I'm not sure if you know what that is, but
I'm familiar with that, being in Texas my whole life. Yes,
okay,
I'm
I
very.
did not.
It is a whole thing. It is
Yeah,
a whole
so
thing.
I it was introduced to this culture. It was a teacher moment for me, and
Mhm.
I actually interviewed him, and he said that he would rather work, and he's worked with celebrity artists. He tours tours all
Mhm.
over, but he said that he would rather work with independent artists and local artists because
Mhm.
they pick up the phone, they're ready to collab. And when
Mhm.
you reach out to some of these big name people, you have to email, you got to chase them down, or they don't respond. Well, there has to be that middleman, and I'm okay with being that middleman because I see the demand for it, and to be able to create the space, there's no bigger reward for that
Mhm.
when you are able to create the space and people can come out safely and be able to perform and do their craft and perform their art. It's an amazing thing. So I'm just humbled and honored to be be part of that.
Yeah, well said, well said. You sound a lot like one of my good friends, Fatal Poems. He's in California. He's kind of a middleman. He works with the underground indie
Yeah,
artists
yeah,
only, and
yeah,
he kind of like he's that person that picks up the phone for him. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And this
yeah.
is where you need to be going, not this way. Okay, you don't. This is this is what you need to focus on. Like he's kind of that guy. So definitely need more people like that in everything. I mean, shout out to
Most
everybody who's helped
definitely.
me in my podcast journey.
Yeah.
Had tons of people pick up the phone. I know I know I wear people out, but I want to know. So you got to you're going to be annoying if you're trying to learn, if you're really trying to learn. So
Yeah, and most definitely. And like I said, I haven't really had too many hurdles as far as people telling me no. I mean, it's really
mhm,
been seamless, but my
mhm,
biggest thing has just been balancing, this and being a mother of three. So I have a
right,
15-year-old, a 14-year-old, or she's about to be 14, and I have a 7-year-old girl.
mhm,
So me balancing being a mother, I also I have a career, so I'm
right,
a bankruptcy manager. Um, and I'm very close knit with like my family. I'm very grounded at home. I have a lot of people that look up to me, that depend on me. And so my energy and how I'm able to operate mentally, I have to meditate a lot. I have to be in tune with myself. And sometimes I overexert myself because I'm trying to
mhm,
make sure everybody else is okay. And
right,
so one way that I hide stress is through working. And so my dear friend Tati, she had to call me out and really say,
mhm,
hey, Keisha, you've been saying that you're tired, you keep booking this and booking that. And to me, I'm thinking I'm doing a great thing, but
mhm,
you're really doing a disservice to yourself and a disservice to your friends, your family, when you are overexerting yourself. So I have had to just kind of get back to the basics. I've had to step away from a couple things, but I'm definitely working on some things that'll definitely make sure that the show
yeah.
continues, but just streamline some of the stuff so I'm able to operate at my full potential.
Well, shout out to your friend, because those are the type of friends you need. You need them friends that's going to call you out and
Yes.
keep you from overworking yourself. You probably were like, I got this, and this. And she was like, no, 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 Keisha.
No,
You said
no.
you needed a break. Take your ass home. You said you wanted a
Gotta
break.
sit
Go
my
home.
butt down.
Yeah, go sit down. Exactly, exactly. So tell me about the radio station, the I am
Yeah.
radio. Tell me about it.
So I am radio. So we actually started. So shout out to my boys, Righteous Life Radio, Righteous Life Media. I actually started with them, airing from them. Uh, I created I am radio. So the power in the I am. That is something that I've had to learn, the power of affirmation. So,
Mhm.
a couple years ago, I was struggling with depression and even battling suicide. A lot of people don't know that part of my
Mhm.
life. And I was being taught by an older African lady. I had my deep religious beliefs and, just really going through it. And I realized at that point, all this stuff she was trying to teach me, I had all these problems going on. I felt like I had failed myself, failed my family, going through a rough patch in my marriage. So
Yeah.
I felt so shamed and damned by God that, and being a spiritual woman, if I can't talk to God, I can't function.
Right.
And I had to borrow some new beliefs. Whatever she was telling me at that time, I couldn't grasp it. And one thing she told me, she said, borrow my beliefs. Because she's like, whatever the hell you believe in, it's not working. So she's like, you need to
Try this
learn.
recipe right here,
Yeah,
and let me
try
give
this
you
right here.
just try this right here for a little bit. See how
Exactly.
that.
And so where the naturopathy and where the I am radio comes from,
Mm,
that's where the word I am is inspired from, is my journey having to practice the power of self affirmations. I was stressed out and depressed because I had the wrong core beliefs. However, that was built from my childhood up. I believe that life happened to me, and then I had to learn that I am life. Life doesn't
right,
happen to
right,
me. I have the same attributes as the creator. I create my own reality, and
mhm.
everything will happen according to his will, and whatever doesn't happen is just not meant to be. But I have a
Right,
certain
exactly.
responsibility for myself and for my family. It's not to try to be their God. My
Mhm.
responsibility over myself is to be the best human being that I can be and be a good example.
Right.
And with that responsibility, I'm not perfect, but with more practice and with
Mhm.
more awareness, you're able to catch yourself like that. Okay, I'm going down this road. I need to veer back over here.
Spiraling a little bit.
Yeah, I'm spiraling, and
Let
you
me
have
go
to have those.
meditate. Let me go get away from everything or what.
Yes,
I'm big on the law of attraction and the
big
secret, and
thing.
I read a lot of those books, Dr.
Mhm.
Wayne Dwyer. So all everything you're saying, I'm like,
Yes,
I'm
yes,
just nodding my head because it's like, yeah, it was about 2010. I got real heavy on that, and
yeah,
the
yeah,
affirmation and visualization and seeing everything that I'm literally doing right now, seeing it
exactly.
before it happened and feeling, not only seeing it, the feeling part, like that's
Yeah,
another part people don't get. Like you got to actually,
your five
how happy
senses.
are you going to feel when you get that job or you get that
Mhm.
house or you get that promotion or whatever? You got to think about that as well as the actual promotion.
Yeah, yeah. Visualization was a big part of my life. And, I'm going to her with all these problems. And I was literally looking for someone to save me. I wanted God to drop down from the sky himself and pull
Mhm.
me out of my own bullshit. And she had to realize, she said, you think I'm talking to you crazy about creating some new shit. She's like, you created everything you're in right now.
Right.
And I said, you know what? It is. It's a consequence of all my
Mhm.
prior beliefs, all my prior actions. Where I was at that point in my life was a consequence. And so I had to um recreate where I was at. I had to take on some new beliefs. I learned the affirmations, and she would tell me simple things like, go watch a comedy. I'm like, the comedy show's not going to help me with my marriage, or it's not going to fix this money problem. And she was like, it's not about that. It's about how you are feeling. When you feel better, you do better. You need to lower your blood pressure. You
Mhm.
need to look a certain way so you
Mhm.
feel a certain way. She was telling me
All
to
tied
get
together.
back to the basics.
Mhm.
And once I started doing that little by little and got my mind back, I was able to recreate my reality, and I made some big changes in my life. And I ended up losing two very important people in my life. My best friend Toya, she was killed that same year, and then after that, I lost my grandmother. Were two pillars in my life that really know Keisha. Again, I'm a very
Mhm.
private person, and I don't have a lot of people to go to. I was always that person that people went to. And
Right.
so when I lost them, I was like, I have to put my big girl panties on, and I have to take on life some way, somehow, in a new shape or form.
Mhm.
And
It's like you
so,
big mama now.
yes, yes. And so
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
responsibility was for me. I started practicing principles through herbalism,
Mhm.
aromatherapy, color therapy, sound therapy. And I was just playing around with it, posting it on Facebook about what I was really doing to help myself. But people was calling it witchcraft and all of this shit. So I said, you know what? Fuck it, I'm a witch. But what I realized is that there is a word for it. It's naturopathy. And so what I ended up doing earlier this year is I ended up going to UTA to
Mhm.
go to school and study naturopathic principles. And then I ended
Oh,
up
okay.
starting teaching monthly classes to our community, people that sign up, and teach them the introduction to naturopathy and teach them how to identify what their triggers are, what their traumas are, and how to heal them by using stuff that's in your back pocket, outside. If you need to go to the lake, if you need to go I walk around barefoot. I do a lot of my shows.
Grounding.
I'm always grounded,
Yeah.
and we're looking for a miracle. But, what I always say is that magic is you creating the space to receive what is already yours. There's no miracle falling out of the sky. You have to take care of yourself, and your family and your friends and your kids need to know that you are okay. You got too many eyes on you. So you need to be responsible and take care of yourself. That way, again, you can operate at your full potential. And that's what I just try to teach everybody, and really get them to understand that we are that I am, not to supersede what the scriptures say about God being the I am. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. I'm talking about the power of you breaking the identity crisis and really understanding the power that you do have and the responsibility that you have in your own life.
Right. Well said. Well said.
And that's what I Am Radio is about, is again creating that space. And it might not be for healing. We could talk about that. There's going to be content about that. But some people are at stages in their life where they need their healing is music. Their healing is their business. That's manifestations that they have. And so I'm just honored to be able to create the space for them to showcase whatever their I am is.
Yes. That's great, man. I you got a fan for life right here. Yeah, seriously, I definitely I want you to come back on and talk more about this. I'd like to get you on my radio on Sundays, and we got an hour, and you can definitely just expound on this more. This was a lot of great information. So before I let you get out of here, do you have any other like new projects you're working on? Anything that you wanted to plug or push right now?
Yeah, so we do, last night, actually just left a showcase. So me and Como in Arlington, Texas at Foucher's, we do host a monthly showcase. So any artists that are interested in coming out to showcase your talent, we do have cash and prizes. You'll also be able to come on the radio show for an interview as well, to be able to showcase your music. So we do that every month. You can always follow me, Keisha Sanchez on Facebook, or I Am Radio on Facebook. Instagram is IAM_radio. And again, that's EYE am_radio. So you're more than welcome to reach out. We'll make sure that you get signed up. It's a dope event. We also do a networking event every month at Foucher's. So any vendors, any artists that's willing to come out and showcase their business or their music there. The radio show, it airs every Tuesday from Fishbowl Radio Network. So at 7 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Tune in with us there. I do have a couple big projects that I'm working on, so I can't go public with it yet.
Right. You can give me a little,
just a little bit. So I have a couple people that have reached out that have been inspired to move forward with their own businesses. So I'm meeting up with a couple people out of Houston, so that are launching a few things for women. And another project. So shout out to Stan. He got don't know if you can see my shirt, but he customized my shirt. So my guy, Stan,
yeah.
So we've been talking about, and he might not care if we go a little bit public with this, but this is something that we'll really take seriously in the upcoming months, is creating a gun club for women. And this is not to be,
I like that.
Is not to be violent or anything of the sort, but there's so many single Black mothers out here, and the fact that we're unprotected, not only because we don't have or are uneducated about how to protect ourselves, with guns, but just even through martial arts or, whatever. If we don't have a gun,
and just first, anything.
We don't have that. And so, but we also have to protect ourselves from some of our men. October is part of domestic violence awareness. And me being a prior victim of domestic violence, I take that very, very seriously. I have the scars to prove it. It's not something that, if you are in that situation, it's not that you're bringing it upon yourself. You not being aware of who you are causes you to stay there, but you have to make sure, and you have to be aware that there are men out here that are going through an identity crisis. They have traumas, and that's why they act out in the way that they do. And it is not your responsibility to care for them or try to heal that part of them. So if you're in that situation, you need to remove yourself and your children for your life's sake, number one. But number two, allow that person to go on about their journey and let life teach them. Hopefully they get around some good brothers, or divine alignment. God himself will be able to expose that in himself and get some help. And, I don't hate the person that did it to me. We actually talk all the time, but it was something that I had to realize. It's not my responsibility. A lot of stuff we need to reel back in and understand what our responsibility is for ourselves, and stop picking up other people's shit. And so the gun club will be a space where we become knowledgeable about those aspects, and again, how to protect ourselves, and also that way we could protect our children as well.
Right. Well said. Well said. Hey, keep me informed on that gun club stuff. I will definitely share all that stuff. You send me anything about that. That's nice.
Yes,
Needs more of that. Need more gun education in the Black community in general. I'm all for that. So definitely. Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. Like I said, you're welcome back anytime. I got to give a big shout out to Coda LaFleur for setting this up for me, and the whole Silent Dreams, Camp Pack Lane, all those guys. Shout out to them boys. Yeah, and LaFleur too. Shout out LaFleur, everything.
All of that. Love them. Love them.
All right. Everybody, this has been the Cloud Chronicles. I'm your host, Jerry and Blaze. This is Keisha Sanchez. Y'all make sure you go follow her on all her social media sites. Check out I Am Radio. And like, share, and subscribe for the Cloud Chronicles. We are out. Peace. Kiss your mama. Drink some water. All that good jazz.
I will. All that. Hydrated now. Take
Bye.
care.